Alton Towers has loads of rides and attractions, some of which have been left standing but not operating for years upon years. We had Enterprise, which stuck around for some time and then eventually got replaced by We currently have Hex, that's been down for the past few weeks for some unknown reason. Maybe the 15th Earl of Shrewsbury wanted his branch back. And of course, the main one in the park that this video is all about, Nemesis Sub Terra, the ride that took guests underground to basically view an egg museum. Either way, the ride shut years ago, never to be opened again. And suddenly, in 2023, the building has been removed and a Retro Squad ride has replaced it. Roller Disco has come back. Last season, there was some small but peculiar things spotted around and near the building, which have since been expanded on more and more in 2023. All of this very much pointing towards the attraction reopening again. I don't know why, but when it was actually open, a lot of people seem to hate it, and now it's coming back, everyone's like, wow, can't wait for it. I mean, I never did it, so I'm not in that category. Don't count me in that. So much has happened to that building, inside and outside, and I thought before it eventually reopens, why not do a little summary video to go through everything we know that points towards why it's going to reopen. It'll be able to open its lifts once again. And before we begin, if you go on to enjoy this video, please subscribe. It'd be greatly appreciated, and it'll make sure that you don't miss the live stream on Friday night where I announce the people joining me on the brand new all-day charity challenge. Nemesis Sub Terra opened back in 2012 and was an extra piece of the puzzle towards Nemesis's storyline. If you don't know Nemesis, it's the big ride that is now currently just a pit of dirt and rubble. The theme of the ride focused on the discovery of a nest of eggs in networks of caves, one of which wakes up and just causes everyone to die. What did I say at the start? Egg Museum the ride. Gone wrong. Pretty much groups would enter the queue line, then once queuing for it, enter a small building with 2 TVs in it, then play a pre-show for them to watch. That pre-show is very important later on, so we'll get onto that. You then went into the elevator lift to take you not up to the ride, not down to the ride. It just took you nowhere. You just stayed on the same level. After shaking around on a fake elevator, you entered a small cave in which you then entered an even bigger amalgamation of rock, exactly where the Nemesis egg was situated, displayed in the center. You'd take a seat round the room, the lights would go off, there'd start being alarms, and then you drop down beneath the ground and then come back up to escape via the not moving lifts again. You then head into a scare maze-esque section which was added shortly after it opened during its 3-year lifetime. Yeah, as I just said, it completely closed in 2015 when it opened in 2012, so it wasn't open for very long. Ever since, the building has been empty, gone, but probably forgotten. I mean, the ride building was actually used later on as a scare maze, Project 42, and then that's not around anymore either. It's a lucky building that. There's a lot of stuff that goes in there and just doesn't make it out the other side. But it's about time we transport ourselves to the present day. Reality exists in this moment. As said at the start of this video, last season, which was 2022 if you didn't know, there was a lot of speculation that rose up regarding the building and the ride as to whether it would return or not. There was hope that whilst Nemesis is closed for its re-track, reimagining, redesigning, remortgaging, that during its absence in 2023, Sub Terra would open as an experience to still kind of bring guests more into that area and also build up hype for the new Nemesis. Nemesis Reborn. Yes, it hasn't happened straight away, which we all know now because it's not been open for the start of the year. But it gets more and more clear each day that it's going to reopen at some point later this year. Let's take you back to 2022. There was some markings spotted in the area of Sub Terra, along with a lot of activity going on inside that building. The emergency lights could sometimes be seen on inside, and sometimes behind the walls there would be some alarms going off. Yes, it could just be a fire alarm drill, but shush. Along with this, of course, the entire Nemesis closing event on closing day saw Phalanx operatives become extremely involved with the story. Apparently they were actually originally referenced within like the comics to do with Nemesis, but there you go, they're back again. Part of the announcement video that was shown at the closing weekend was clearly filmed inside the Sub Terra building as well. Despite the fact that Easter egg exists, my favourite part of that video is still when that man just randomly says, "Complex beast," with all his heart. It's incredible. But from that closing day, the whole speculation of this reopening gets so much clearer. You know when Blackpool said officially that Valhalla was going to open on the 7th and then it opened on the 12th? It's clearer than that, and this isn't even official. In the year we are in, 2023, not only does the map have the building on it, which that's the first time it's been on a map since it shut. Most days you visit the park, if you head to Sub Terra, you'll see 3 very noticeable things. First of all is that it hasn't been replaced by a Retro Squad ride yet. Second thing is that a Phalanx operative or staff member is constantly standing outside the entrance now. I mean, if you go up to them and ask them what is happening with this bloody ride, most of the time they literally repeat the words, "Sorry, I can't tell you anything, but the investigation of Nemesis is currently on. Check back with us soon." Maybe I should be a Phalanx operative. That delivery was incredible. And number 3 is that there is a massive queue line and viewing platform that's been created since. I was saying this a while back, but my thought process with this viewing platform is that if it does open, scratch that. Instead of if, I'm going to start saying when. If it doesn't, that's a huge L. When it does open, that viewing platform, I reckon, will act as part of the queue line for Sub Terra. So you sort of have this view of the Nemesis site being dug up and they're looking for this egg or something whilst you're queuing up for the ride. It'd be a perfect plot point. Either way, the viewing platform is way too small to just be walk up, have a look, go home, unless they only expect one person to go up it every 4 days. Following this new elevated queue line, where you enter the elevators, the Sub Terra height requirement check board can be seen against the wall as if it's sort of yet to be installed. When I last went, I saw earlier in the day that the sign was facing me, and then later on I went back and it wasn't. They're trying to halt my speculation here. Tower. And recently, to back it up more, inside the building where the pre-show used to run, the TV screens that used to play it were testing and playing the pre-show.
The elevator doors in front of you will open to take you down to the central core.
It's just not a coincidence, is it? Obviously, from there we can't see inside the building unless you have like X-ray vision. But you can very clearly hear it a lot of the time testing outside the building because it's bloody loud. In my vlog, however, I noticed that the door to the exit was open, which then upon scouring it was then followed by some louder noises inside, like just smoke was even seen coming out of the building, more audio was testing, all that good stuff. So the big question is, why hasn't it opened yet? Just to make you aware, I am not an expert in the Nemesis Sub Terra industry, but I can only imagine Towers will open it later because this year has been purely based on the fact Curse at Alton Manor has opened, which is very good, by the way. Go and ride it. So obviously with a massive retheme opening, you don't want to like overshadow it with Sub Terra. My guess is we'll see Sub Terra open very soon, maybe in the next few weeks if we're lucky. We know Towers do like a quick turnaround. You never know, they might have it open for the Smiler takeover, because you know Nemesis Sub Terra has so much to do with the Smiler. But yeah, I have no clue on an opening date, so I might be horribly wrong. I just think that if the queue line has been completely rebuilt, they've repainted parts of the building, there's audio playing, there's effects going, the ride is running. Be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments below, subscribe, and make sure you stay tuned for Friday night's announcement. Cheers.